You are welcome to our channel. Keep liking, make sure you subscribe, and don't forget to share. In the news, Rivers. It is expected we ask on their behalf for approval of Rivers 2025 appropriation bill. Who said this? It's Akpabio, the Senate president. In a recent development, Senate President Godswill Akpabio formally requested the Senate's approval of the Rivers State 2025 appropriation bill on behalf of the Rivers State House of Assembly. The request was made during a session of the National Assembly, as shown in a video posted on the official YouTube channel of Symphony TV. Speaking in the chamber, Akpabio explained that due to the absence of the Rivers State House of Assembly, the National Assembly was asked to act on their behalf. He stated, in the absence of the Rivers State House of Assembly, it is expected that the National Assembly acts on their behalf. Hence, the request for the approval of the Senate for the Rivers State Government 2025 Appropriation Bill. This appeal follows President Bola Tinubu's former request for the National Assembly to consider and approve the Rivers State budget for 2025, amounting to 1.48 trillion naira. The request underscores the federal government's involvement in the state's financial matters due to the current emergency rule in Rivers State, which was proclaimed and officially gazetted in March. The emergency rule has effectively placed the state under federal oversight, making this Senate's approval a necessary step for the Rivers State government to assess and to utilize the proposed budget for the upcoming fiscal year. Well, those were the submission of the Senate President as regards Rivers State. At least since the federal government has taken over the Rivers State as a result of the declaration of state of emergency in rule in that state, and is under the leadership of a sole administrator that was appointed by the president, and the sole administrator is standing there on behalf of the president. So the president had to send the budget that was supposed to be the financial instrument that would guide, the state for that year, even onto the House of Assembly. But funny enough, the State House of Assembly too was suspended. So the Senate had to take over the prerogative and the assignment and then do it. So that was what made the Senate president to make the comment that he made, that it is expected that we ask on their behalf for approval of Rivers 2025 appropriation. That is on behalf of the people of Rivers State. Since there is no state assembly that will, preside over the budget and defense and passing, so the Senate had to stand in on their behalf. So that is the reason why the issue statement came out from the Senate president. It will have been proper for it to come out from the mouth of the Speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly. And then this very request, of course, was made during one of the sessions of the National. Godswill Akpabio, the Senate president, explained that due to the absence of the Rivers State House of Assembly, and that is why they are doing what they are doing. And of course, the state really need to proceed. They won't have to stop the economy. You won't shut down the economy of a subnational because of the suspension of the principal officers or the principal actor. Whatever may be the problem or the situation of those people, let them go and sort themselves. The state is bigger and higher and even stronger than any individual. After all, the mandate given to the governor is from the state, is the people that invested the mandate in him. So if by adventure he has an issue, that shouldn't stop the day-to-day running of a state. And that is the beauty of democracy in this regard. And that even if there is a flop from the people that are, giving the duty to discharge, there is always a particular provision of the constitution that can, salvage the matter, like it is now in the case of National Senate Assembly that is standing in even for the State House of Assembly. Also, if there's no governor in the state, the president has the prerogative like he has done because of the situation of Rivers State. He appointed a sole administrator. On a good day, he is supposed to preside over the very state, but then his work seems to be enormous, so he had to, by proxy now, preside over the so-called state. That is why he had to appoint a sole administrator. So he is appealing as the president now that the House should consider the bill, the appropriation, the budget, and then they should pass it because they need it. The state just need to move forward. That's the key thing. The request underscore the federal government's involvement in the state financial matter due to the current emergency rule. Like I said earlier, it is a emergency rule that places the state under federal oversight. That is why Senate is approving its budget. And be it as it may, my advice is that Rivers people, within these 6 months of a state of emergency, they need to work in hand with the sole administrator, because if they fail to do so, the administrator has nothing to lose. It's not indigent in that state, it's from another state entirely, and I know he's not going to lose coming in to work as a sole administrator. He will be paid for the assignment. So whatever he says to the people of Rivers State, they should bury their hatchet, forget their arrogance or their influence or their interest in bringing back their governor. They should be patient and understand the fact that if there is proper behavior and there is restoration of peace in that state, of course, after 6 months, because the president is a democratic president, he too was elected into office and he understands the value of keeping a mandate. He might reconsider and restore Governor Fubara. But if they are not cooperating, I mean the people of Rivers State, with the sole administrator, they may be in for a very long time under the emergency rule. I remember it happened in Ekiti State that it was throughout the remaining tenures or the days of that government that General Oluri was in there as the administrator of Ekiti State when Ayo Fayose was, removed. And I don't want such a situation to be here, even in Rivers State. If they cooperate within the first 6 months that is stipulated by the law, the man will do the little he wants to do, and then Fubara will be restored. And they should not forget also that the day-to-day running of the state is in the hands of the people solely. But then putting a governor in charge is just for us to have somebody to hold accountable. He is not the full sole actor. Of course, they are professionals that will be acting and doing all sorts of things. So let the people rise up and take up their they should take up their state and hold the responsibility and their destiny in their hand. Don't forget to like, to share, and also to subscribe to our channel. Thank you.